also to be someone else and yet be the essence of myself too, maybe like the best version of myself or the most confident version of myself. I'm going to a launch event right now. There's something called the Flaunt Collective, which is like a collective of female founders and brands, really. I think it's, sorry, you can't even see me, what's the point? But it's interiors and probably some fashion and probably some jewellery. And the whole shebang is owned by a woman called Sarah. I don't know her surname, but she is a good friend of my friend Deb's, and she's also a rug expert, like a full-on. She really, really knows her stuff. She's been importing rugs for years and years, and yeah, so that's her. And then after that, so I'm going to a music thing at the chapel, so that will be nice. And it's freezing, but you're probably sick of me saying things are freezing. But anyway, I so didn't want to go out this evening, but I'm pleased that I've made myself. And yeah, we'll see how we go. This is quite the feast for the eyes. And then we'll go through to the main space. Oh, it's lovely. Look at them. Yes. Little teeny turtles in there. So this is the chapel. Debs is ahead of me. You can see the sheep. What are you wearing on your feet, Debs? I wonder.
Oh, they're amazing. Show my feet. They're better than the last
Can I see this side? Oh yeah. Oh, are these the ones from
M&M?
They are. Oh, and they've got fur. See
yeah,
the fur?
it's like
I like
skin.
Yeah.
with my yellow socks to go with
Your
my
yellow, yeah, your mustard
go
yellow
with my-
socks to go with
my
my scarf.
outfit.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay.
I had a king dressed in drip dry and paisley, lately he's taken to say.
It's Sunday morning and I'm about to take Quincy out for a walk before work. Look how cosy she's done. I know she's thinking, oh please let's not. I'll just stay here. I'll just pop out into the garden and then be cozy, because this is the optimal moment of sunshine. It's just everything is coming together. Look, she's even on my coat. Great. She says, we don't need to do this. You don't need to do this. No, we do need to do this. Darling, we go walkies. We go walkies. Do you see the enthusiasm? Walkies. Walking uphill is absolutely exhausting, but clearly very good for the body muscles. And can you see Quincy? His little speck. Come on, darling, let's go. She's just on her wee-wees. Yeah, so I'm not going to say it's cold again, but actually I can see the frost is only just starting to melt in the sunshine. But this is a walk that I come with Quincy, and I'll just give you a little panoramic view because it's really lovely. Come on, Quince. Come. Okay, so there's this wood here, which you can go in. There's a badger set in there, and I worry about Quincy going into it. Not that she would be interested in hunting, it would be to kind of make friends, or to try and make friends, or just be curious. But they would just eat her, and it would just be an awful experience. So I just can't risk it, so I stay away from there. But look at this. I remember when I first moved here, I was just so thrilled, so thrilled. And weirdly, this gate here used to be open, so you could walk all down there, and it was just fantastic. But it's closed now. Don't know why. Maybe. Anyway, for the animals, I guess, because sometimes there are cows in here, sometimes there are sheep, and it's yeah, it's really lovely. I hope I'm not. Gosh, I hope I'm not making you dizzy. Okay, so, and then this side, just turning very slowly, that's the little pathway that goes to another place. And then, look at Quince. She's just not, Quince, come! She says, let's get the hell out of here. Let's just go home and be warmer. Okay, darling, we're going to go home, okay? We'll go home. That's enough, is it? That's enough. Look, I don't know if you can see her. There she is, heading off. Yep, she says, I'll lead the way. There's a very muddy little slope here, and I'm wearing wellies, and I think, well, my old hunter wellies, and they don't have much. Oh God. Okay, I'm going to stop this because they don't have much tread on them, and this could be a funny thing. Well, funny thing for you to watch, maybe not so funny for me. I just wanted to show you this darling little display. I am personally not a huge fan of Valentine's Day, even when in a relationship. However, I know a lot of people are, and I just wanted to show you some really cute things in this that we have here. So I just think that's very dear. I like its yeah, I like its oddness and its sort of its Queen of Hearts vibe. It's just it's a little bit Alice in Wonderland, and I like that. And like $4.95, and there's just, you know, really sweet little things, little trinket trays. Oh look, a little lobster, because I know they mate for life, don't they? What else can I show you? Oh, this is just one of those, you know, little bags. Hang on, let me show you this again. So it's just a little bag, like a little, you know, bits and bobs thing, like a smaller version of my one. But look at those otters, aren't they darling? Yeah. And then what else? What else? Going really slowly. Some stripy knickers, and cups. It's my dressing gown rolled up there. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to show you. I'll just link to the shop in case you see anything
that you like. Look, little block print and Bruton Cornish wear, that is. Yeah, look at these matches, aren't they cute? Look, so old school. Those biscuits, lovely. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. So it's Sunday evening and I'm cozy at home. Quincy has had her walk, so now it's just lovely. We're going to watch some TV in a minute. But when I was at the shop, I just recorded a little thing, and this dressing gown was in it. It's a velvet dressing gown, and it's very luxurious and beautiful. And one of the things about working in a boutique is obviously I get amazing discounts on things, and my boss Nikki is she's a very generous person. So I had wanted one of these dressing gowns for, I think she's been stocking them for about 3 years, and every season they're different colours and they're just beautiful, and they're lined they're lined in a different sort of fabric. They're French, I believe. Anyway, whatever, that's all. This is actually all irrelevant, because I was reminded about the dressing gown, something I read years ago, and this is going to sound very tedious, but it's actually quite interesting. Just bear with me. So I don't know if any of you remember the BBC documentary that was called, I think it was called A Year in Vogue. Weirdly, it's not on YouTube because I constantly look for it because I would love to rewatch it. Anyway, it was essentially recording Alexandra Shulman's last year as editor, or maybe it wasn't actually recorded that, but anyway, it was a year, and it turned out to be her last year in Vogue. Whether that was coincidental or not, I don't know. Anyway, before Edward Enningful became editor. And anyway, it was completely fascinating. I think it was like a 3-hour documentary, and I've always found Alexandra Shulman a very interesting woman because she seems incredibly down to earth and practical and stable in an environment that must be totally unstable. And there's just something about her that I really like. And also I think she was editor for, off the top of my head, I'm going to say 20 years, a really long time in, what is one of the most coveted jobs in the world, the most prestigious jobs in fashion in the world. Anyway, after she left British Vogue, it must have been a really tough time for her, because if you do a job for that long, that has such prestige, when you come away from it, it must be disorienting, because in a way it must define you. Anyway, so she wrote this book, and you might remember it or not. It's called Clothes and Other Things That Matter. And so it's kind of like it's a very interesting premise. So on one level, she starts off and it's talking about clothes, and she lists all the clothes that she has in her wardrobe at that time, which is very fascinating. But on another level, it is a memoir, and it's about her going through that transition in life. And I want to read you something, and it's really not long. It's literally 2 pages, but she writes so beautifully, and so there's something very calming about it. And so I thought it might be a nice thing to do on a Sunday evening. Not that you will see this on a Sunday evening, but you know what I mean. So the chapter is called Dressing Gown. And as I say, all the different chapters are assigned to different items of clothing. So there's the bra, the suits, hats, the Chanel jacket, etc., etc. So this is about the dressing gown. So in this part of the book, she's left Vogue, and she's trying to find a new direction in her life. So in the early autumn of 2016, I set off to the Suffolk town of Aldborough to move into a flat I had rented overlooking the North Sea. The car was filled with bedding, a stovetop coffee maker, my favourite bath essence, vodka, olive oil, yellow legal pads, a a portable radio, 2 suitcases of clothes that I wanted to keep there for weekends, including a blue, green and yellow plaid brushed cotton dressing gown. I drove alone to set everything up before David, that's her boyfriend, arrived the next day, in an attempt to make it somewhere that would be appealing to him, who had rather less enthusiasm for this project than I. He felt no need to escape to a Victorian seaside town with a shingle beach, but I did. I had just finished the heavy lifting involved in Vogue's 100th anniversary year, an exhibition at the National Portrait Gallery, a book, a fashion festival, a BBC television documentary, a gala dinner and a special centenary issue. After all this intense, demanding and also exhilarating activity, life seemed a bit flat and I was searching for something different, though I had no idea what. I thought the Aldborough flat might be the answer, because normally she lives in London, obviously. I had plans to write poetry, paint bad watercolours, play the guitar and just be. To be me in a place unconnected with my job, in a place that wasn't even mine, so I would be free from much of the domestic responsibility of home, the cracks on the ceiling, the chipping paintwork, the never quite getting the sitting room furniture right. On the first morning, I wrapped up in the dressing gown and made a pot of coffee in the small gas cooker, poured it into a thermos and walked with it across the road to the shingle beach where I sat watching the sun rise above the sea. The gulls circled scraps of fish thrown out by the fishermen who were preparing to sell their fish for the day into the shacks that lined the beach. It was glorious. The dressing gown was a birthday present from my mother, which I had asked for. It was from Toast, and old-fashioned, in the style that predated central heating, and was usually worn by men, possibly with a pair of sheepskin slippers, to shuffle down the stairs to breakfast. Large, with a long tie belt and deep pockets, it was as soft as a cloud, but also protective. It's one of the many dressing gowns that I have collected. And this was the bit that interested me. Dressing gowns are the transit lounges of life. You wear them as you wait to move from one state of being to another, from sleep to day, from bathing to dressing. In my opinion, you can never have too many. And I think the reason this sprung to mind for me was when I started this YouTube channel, I knew there were certain things that I felt I needed to move into, to be in transit the way that she describes, the transit lounge of life. I felt that to move from one space to another, one of the things I would need, because I really haven't bought a lot of things. I haven't bought any equipment. I mean, I have my phone. I bought a tripod, which is rubbish and constantly falling over, but I really haven't bought things. But I just thought it would be really nice to have a lovely dressing gown, because I'd like at some point, to do bathroom chats. And I think and as well, I'd had the same dressing gown for years and years and years. And so I got this dressing gown, as it really has. It has sort of helped me to move from one space to another. And I think that in a way, and also to be someone else and yet be the essence of myself too, maybe the best version of myself or the most confident version of myself. And I think that that's really lovely, and I think that that's what clothes do, and I'm very pleased. And I think also that reading a book like that, I mean, you can tell she just writes beautifully. I felt so comforted, I'm there with her in the car driving to the Suffolk coast with the coffee maker and the plaid bathrobe and her favourite bath essence. And, and it's a woman having to rethink her whole life. I mean, my God, she's doing it so on her own terms. She couldn't have stayed at Vogue forever anyway. And it was, I just liked it. I wanted to share it with you. And there's something about just reading that type of book where nothing happens fast, but it's light. It's light, but it's not trivial, I think is what that is. It's very light reading, but it isn't trivial. There's actually a lot there, and it's actually as meaningful as anything, really. And it just touched me, and I wanted to share it with you. And I also want to share with you how unimpressed Quincy is. Look. Do you see? She could not care less. In fact, she thinks, could you just finish what the hell you're doing? Because I want to, because in the evening when I watch TV, I go to that end of the sofa and she sits on my lap and she's just completely content, and it's very dear. So there she is. Anyway, I hope that was okay. And yeah, I've got 1,000 subscribers now, and I'm so grateful and so surprised, just so surprised. And I'm actually going to, I'm going to do a separate video about that. So, and I kind of wanted to give you the heads up first, because although I may post it before this, I don't know. But anyway, I just want you to know that it's almost like a separate thing for people in our age group who might want to start a YouTube channel. So I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about why I think that it's happened the way that it is, because I haven't done a lot of research into it, but I think that, I was just making sure I wasn't going to catch on fire. I think that it's it's fast, it's really fast, and so I wanted to unpack that. But tomorrow, or either tomorrow or Tuesday, I'm going to show you a little bit more of my house and talk about, it's not a mural, but it's a painted piece of leather, and I just want to show it to you. It's on a door. You will have glimpsed it, but I wanted to show you a little bit more because I think it's a nice to do. Anyway, I'm rambling. So here we are, we're outside my house, pretty plant, as you can see, and then it's just a tiny entrance. I mean, to call it hallways is quite grand, but it has nice floorboards which were just underneath the carpets. That was very pleasing. So you literally come in, and then there's the stairs up to the landing there, and that red thing you can see there is actually a Christmas decoration. It's just a sort of pom-pom, paper pom-pom thing, but I left it there because I thought that's a lovely pop of colour. So I'm going super slowly with my camera work. So this is the loo door just here, coats are here, and then so you can see it's a little, it's not a big space at all. So that's that goes up to obviously there's the kitchen there. That's a little seat where Quincy is. That's where she was licking the window like a freak. And then that's a bit of the living room. And then we're going to go very slowly around here. And then this is the door that I particularly wanted to show you. Okay, so I've just shown you what the hallway, basically the relationship between the hallway and the front door. So you can see it's all very, very close. So here I'm on the stairs, and then the kitchen is literally just there. So what to do with a teeny space? I mean, obviously going up that way, it's really big and it's lovely, but it's quite confined here. So originally it was all just kind of white. You may think bizarre idea to therefore paint it quite a dark colour, this cinnamon colour, but actually I think it works, because I think sometimes if a small space it's just a small space, and just enhance the fact that it's a small space and make it, I wanted it to be a warm and cosy kind of welcome, if you like, and I hope that I have an approximation of success with that. The first thing that I did, obviously, was I painted the walls. I haven't painted all the way up there because I literally have to I've gone to about that far from the ceiling, which is as far as I could get with those long rollers, which are just amazing. Like, you can do so much, but obviously you can't do fine work because it would go all over the ceiling. So I have to actually get some sort of internal scaffolding. And then also people who were here before had wallpaper on the ceiling, and it's kind of loose, so I have to take all of that off anyway. But the thing that I really wanted to show you was this thing on the door, because so this is the door that I showed you the other day to what used to be the garage, and then you have another door right there, which is the door to the loo. So immediately you've got doors, and I thought, well, how to make, and a door is just an uninteresting expanse, and I thought, well, it would be nice to make that interesting. So I was in, we have a local auction here, and I saw this sort of dusty thing in a frame that was obviously one part of what was probably a triple screen, you know, a folding screen, and it was covered thick dust and grime. But I could see there was something, you know, that it was leather and there was something painted. It was also very cracked and just in really bad shape. So I got it for like about 20 quid, but I will show it to you. So here it is. I've actually opened the door into the garage sort of studio space, so which is why it's a bit echoey, but you can see it's just a really unusual thing. You know, I guess in some ways it's kind of grotesque, but sometimes it's, you know, it's just nice. I like that it was burnished and just a really warm colour. Look, you can see all the damage. So the first thing I did was I took it off the frame because the frame was too big and chunky to go on the door. And then I literally just nailed it onto a very thin piece of, not even plywood, it used to be underlay underneath the kitchen. The kitchen used to have lino, and it was part of that sort of very thin underlay. So I did that, and then I just nailed it onto that, and then I just cleaned it. I washed it. It's almost like a leather kind of moisturiser. But you know, it's really interesting. Do you see? So it's kind of embossed. See, here we are. We're back in the hall now. And yeah, so what I was about to say, but my filming got really awful, was that, you know, the piece of leather wasn't particularly symmetrical. So when I put it on the wall, on the door, it just looked wonky all the time. And I thought, well, what's the best way to overcome that? And so I had some really dark sort of walnut brown, it's called walnut brown paint, and I painted that on, and then it kind of solved the problem. And then I had painted this architrave the same colour as the wall. The wall is a copy of Caddie, which is, I think it's a paint and paper library one, but it didn't copy particularly well. It's much, the original Caddie colour is kind of a little bit, you know, it has more like milk or cream in it. This is more spice, if that sort of makes sense, to use a food analogy. Yeah, so then that wasn't working, so then I painted it this, it's a Farrow and Ball white, which I just think kind of lifted it as well. And then, so it's a very awkward space. So up there, I just want to get like a big kind of cloth or something to hang, or you know, I'm just going to see what I can find in auctions, and we have the flea market here once a month, so I'll try that. And then this space here, obviously it's a small space and it's all very close by. So up here, that's just that's another one of Colette's darling little plates, another fantastic illustration, which sorry, it's so wobbly. I'm holding this on a stick, so it's a bit, but you can see it's lovely on that kind of cinnamon coloured background. I don't like that painting, but it's there and it fills the space. And actually I'd love to paint over it. I would ask one of my girls, because they're all brilliant. There's me, hello. And this is a mirror. So this is just above the radiator, you can see, which needs to be painted the same colour as the wall. And this is just a lovely little mirror that I got from the Shepton Flea Market, and it was really, really cheap. I mean, and it's crazy cheap, because I think it was about £30, and look at that. it's that cobwebs, never mind. But it's just pretty beautiful. And if I do get my key thing, you know, my key box I was talking about before, I would want to get a little one and for it to go just there, just like literally just there, because then the door is there. And I'd even do it so that with the door opening that way if I could. So I just put the key straight in, problem solved. But then I worry, is that automatic electrocution? Is that where do the wires go down or up? Does anyone know? I'd love to know before I electrocute myself. Anyway, so then I'm quite into antlers and things like that. And this is great because it's on, it's actually a carved wooden face. And you see the antlers there. So that's quite, it's just quite nice in that space. And then this is a little Dalesford plate, love Dalesford. And then a painting above it, again unframed, super casual, and I like that as well. This is actually my son's, so that's going to him, but anyway. So again on the cinnamon background, I think it's quite nice. And then this is, oops, another oil painting, a maternal scene there, which I think is quite, you know, I think the pink, the colours are just really quite nice. And I'm just going to give you a quick thing. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, that's the light. And I will show you that light. I think that was the greatest ever flea market find I've ever found. Anyway, which brings me to this door here, which is not an original door, obviously, really plain door, not a nice door, but I'm going to do something interesting with it and I'm not sure what. I might just actually, if I could just teach myself how to paint, you know, paint on faux panels, I'd love to do that because I think it would be nice. And then there's just a little teeny bit of space. Whoops. Goodness, is being such a good girl. Such a good girl. No barking or anything. Say hello. She says no, get out of my... Yeah, so that's just a thing for boots and leads and gloves and stuff like that. Yeah, these stairs were, so they had, you know, a very old carpet on them. And again, just in a fit of pique, I just tore all the carpet off and the underlay. And then this is what was left. I mean, I know that they're bashed up and everything. But what I tried to do was I tried to just tidy them up a little bit. Obviously, I got rid of all of the nails. And then I used this, okay, so I tried to tidy up where the black was a little bit, but it's a mess again now, but that's okay. But I got this paint on, you know, wood protector and preserver. That's a little thing of my curtains, which I made such a pig's ear of. And just while we're doing this, there are two pictures waiting to go up. And this, again, unbelievable. Obviously, it's a Picasso. I shouldn't think it's a real print, but I mean, it does look really good. And I bought it in the frame from a charity shop. I mean, it is damn fine, isn't it? And in fact, I've got this print elsewhere in the house as well, but I thought, well, let's have two of those because, again, it was very cheap. And then this, I just wanted to show you this print, which I've put on the top landing window, so I'm sorry about the glare, but I wanted to find the best light. So this is a print, again, that I found unbelievably in a charity shop, and it had a terrible frame, so I got rid of the frame. And then this frame here, if I go in closer, I actually bought off Colette because all of Colette's paintings, they all have antique frames, so she never gets anything framed. You know, she doesn't do new frames at all. They're all beautiful, characterful antique frames. And yeah, and so she didn't have any use for this one at the time, and so I bought it. And this is actually a signed print. I mean, it's just unbelievably joyful. I just want to be there with the flowers. Look, the jug and the lemon and the lime, and oh, it's just so good. Look, and even the paintings on the wall there. And look at that field out there. Isn't that just lovely? And it is actually a signed print. The signature is still there, but I had to just cover it up when I had it framed, but it is still there. Anyway, I hope I'm not moving this around too much. I just wanted you to see it. Look at that sunshine in that. And that's what I loved about it, was just the joyfulness and the sunshine. And I do think it will work very well on that cinnamon background. And it just injects some light in the hall. But I will probably have to wait to put this up until I do the internal scaffolding, which just seems ridiculous, but it's got to be done. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed that little video, and I hope that the filming was slower. And my look for today is very, not very inspiring. I've actually just come back from work. So for work today, I just wore the super baggy jeans, and this is a belt from dress. And you know, the Zara thing you've probably seen a dozen times now. The key thing is the Blundstones. So the Blundstones they're working boots, and essentially if you want to live in Bruton, they did pass a law. You have to own some boots. You could come into Bruton for a while without Blundstone boots, but you need to not cause any trouble, be as inconspicuous as you can, because you know you're on borrowed time. But the boots, actually, in all seriousness, they are so popular because they are brilliant, because they are designed as work boots, and they're so comfortable. They're the kind of boots you don't need to break in at all, and they kind of insulate your feet in the winter, I guess, because the soles are quite thick, and they're just, you know, they're just so strong. They're amazing, amazing, amazing. I also have obviously thermals on because it ain't getting any warmer. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm going to try and post this video because I've sort of set myself up with a bit of a deadline because of the Valentine's thing. Although the things I showed you, they don't actually say Valentine's on them, so they can be for anything. Anyway, I hope that you're all having a nice day, and I will be back.